Hi friends, Marissa from the Neon Tea Party here, and I'm so excited for today's tutorial, how to make crochet smiley flower patches. We have been totally obsessed with smiley flowers here at the Neon Tea Party lately. We're crocheting them, we are stringing them up on bracelets as beads. We really cannot get enough of this really sweet retro motif. And so we figured what better way to enable you to put them on anything you want than to create little patches out of crochet. So that's what I'm going to be showing you today. I have here a pair of jeans, or actually denim overalls. And what's really cool about this pattern is that you can follow it exactly and make the smiley flower, or you can break it up and make a little flower or a little smiley. So you're really getting 3 tutorials in one. We have these ones on the front. So cute. So I'm going to be taking you through how to make this whole patch from the center, adding the petals, adding the smiley face, and then how to sew them onto fabric so you can actually use them as patches. So let's get started. I'll walk you through the supplies. Everything, all the supplies we're going to be using today are available at shop.theneonteaparty.com in our crochet section. So first you're going to need yarn, of course. So you'll probably, if you're doing a full smiley flower, want to pick 2 colors, one for the center of the flower and one for the petals. Plus you're going to want a color for the smile and the eyes. I've been using black. You can use dark brown, navy, anything that's going to, show up as a smiley face on the center of your flower. The yarn that we're using today is our favorite yarn here at the Neon Tea Party. It's called Omega Krill. If you've never used it before, it's a fine acrylic yarn from Mexico. It's really thin. It comes in this like 3-ply situation, which you'll treat as one unit. And we're actually going to be doubling up the yarn, pulling from both the center and the outside, which I'll get into when we get started. The colors I'm using today are Mexican pink and mandarin and black. These are 2 of my favorite colors. Then we also have just a couple, basic crochet supplies. We're using a 3.5 millimeter hook, which is also a size E or a number 4 hook. So 3.5 millimeter, size E, or number 4 hook. Those are all different ways to indicate the same size crochet hook. Then you're going to need a yarn needle that will be for actually embroidering on the little smiley face, scissors, of course, to cut your yarn, stitch marker if you are going to stop in the middle of making your smiley flower so you can keep your place. And when you go to sew it on, you're going to want a big eye, I think size 18 is the size, embroidery needle, and a needle threader if you want one. So that's all you need. Let's get started. We're going to start with the center of our flower. And for that, we're just going to need our center color yarn, our crochet hook, and a pair of scissors. Actually, the scissors we'll come back to. So you're just going to need your yarn and your hook. And we're going to start with our round center. And so I'm just pulling both tails from my yarn here. So when you get a skein of Omega Krill, when you remove the Omega Krill paper, it comes with like a big red and white label. When you remove the paper, you're going to easily find the outside tail, which will be this 3-ply situation, like so. And then there's also a tail hiding on the inside of the skein, which is a little trickier to find. So when you get your skein, you're going to want to sort of pick at the center, like it'll sit up like this, pick at the center, on the top, on the bottom, until you get it. Sometimes you're going to want to rip out the guts, cut them out, and then you're going to be able to very easily access that interior tail. So once you have found the interior and exterior tails, and you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 skinny little strands, you're going to match those all up, and we're going to start by slip knotting our yarn onto our crochet hook. I'm just pulling out some length here, throwing that off to the side. So we're going to slip knot our yarn onto our crochet hook just by twisting it like that. Put your 2 little pinchy fingers through the loop and pull through. Actually, that tail's a little too long, but hopefully that gives you the picture of how we make our little slip knot. Get it onto the hook, tighten, and then we're ready to go. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to chain 4, and we're going to turn our chain into a loop. So to chain, if you've never chained before, you just yarn over by bringing the yarn over and across your hook, and you're going to pull that yarn over through the loop that's on your hook. Okay, so that's a chain 1. And we're going to do 3 more of these. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So 4 chains. And if you're needing to reference that more slowly or want like a broken down tutorial, all the stitches that I'm going to be taking you through today are available on the neonteaparty.com in our tutorials section. Head over to the crochet section in tutorials, and you will find all the stitches broken down step-by-step photos. So definitely go ahead and reference that. We'll also have those linked below this video. So now we have 4 chains, and we're going to turn our chain into a loop, and we're going to do this with a little slip stitch. So we're just going to take the top of our hook. We're going to go down to that first chain here. You can count your chains. They look like little V's. So just go down to that first V right on top of your knot. You're going to insert the hook right in the center of that V. So you see it pops up. You might, with Omega Krill, actually you definitely will experience a little bit of splitting. So it's usually not a big deal. So up to you how precise you want to be. Okay, so when you insert it, you're going to end up with this little U shape on your hook, the little chain kind of looping underneath. And to slip stitch this little loop closed, you're going to just yarn over. Let's move that to the side. You're going to yarn over, and then you're going to pull through 2. So you're going to pull through both the chain that you entered with your hook and the last little loop that's on your hook. So just go ahead and gently pull through 1, 2, and you have a tiny, tiny little loop, a little, circle now hanging off your hook. So we're going to use this as a foundation to start our circle. So we're going to be crocheting in the round, 2 rounds, and we're going to be using double crochets. And also I'm going to try and hide my tail as I'm doing this, just to keep things looking nice and neat as we go. So the first thing we're going to want to do before we even double crochet is we're going to chain 3. So you're just going to yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 1, and now you have 3 chains, and this just basically brings our hook away from the center of our circle, and now we're at a good distance to start double crocheting into the center of our loop. So now we're going to add 12 double crochets, and I will show you how to do a double crochet, and let's go for it. So to double crochet, you're going to start by yarning over, and then you're going to insert the hook into the center of that little circle that you made. It could be a little tricky because it's pretty small, but if you kind of stretch it out far enough, you'll find that little center, which is, remember, we made the little chain and we closed it up, and so you want to get right in the center of that little donut. So just to back up again, to do our double crochet, you're going to yarn over, you're going to insert your hook into the center of that little donut, you're going to yarn over again, pull the yarn over through the little donut, and you'll have 3 loops on your hook. Now to complete your double crochet, you're going to yarn over once more and pull through 2, 1, 2, and then yarn over and pull through 2 again, 1, 2. So that is your first double crochet. We want to add 11 more. So let's go for it. You're going to yarn over, go into the center of your little crochet donut. I'm just going to keep calling it that. Yarn over again, pull the yarn over through the donut only, yarn over again, pull through 2, 1, 2, yarn over, pull through 2 for the last time. And just again, you're gonna definitely run into some splitting. If you're unfamiliar with that term, splitting means when like your hook kind of goes in between strands and you're not catching the whole thing. So just, you know, keep an eye out for it. Most of the time you can just kind of just keep going even if you're splitting a little bit. Don't get too hung up on it. Just keep on going. Okay, so we have 2 double crochets. We got 10 more. So I'm going to dictate the next 2, and then I'm going to speed things up and finish the round, and we'll move on to the next round. So we're going to yarn over, enter the center of our donut, yarn over, pull through the donut, yarn over, pull through 2, 1, 2, yarn over, pull through 2, 1, 2. Okay, I'll talk through one more. Yarn over, hook goes in the center of the donut, yarn over, pull through the donut, yarn over, pull through 1, 2, yarn over, pull through 1, 2. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets. I have 8 more to go, so let's speed things up and I'm going to finish off this round. Okay, so looks like we have done 12 double crochets. I like to sometimes use my needle to count, and you can count your stitches by looking at these little vertical or horizontal notches rather. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and remember that first one was our chain 3, so we've got 12 double crochets. We're ready to close up this round and move on to our next round. So to close up our round, we're going to do kind of what we did with our like the little foundation circle. So you're going to count up, you're going to peel this back a little bit, you're going to find that chain 3 you did at the beginning of the round, and you're going to count up 1, 2 to the 3rd chain. Let's make sure I can see that. Oops, kind of hidden. 1, 2, 3. And you're going to just yarn over and you're going to pull through that and then pull through the loop on your hook. And that's a slip stitch to close your round. So, okay, we have our first round done, and now we're going to layer on our second and final round of our circle. And so for this one, we're going to start the same way by chaining 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then we are going to do a total of 23 double crochets around the outside. So we have 12 little chains from our double crochets that hopefully you can see, those little V-shaped chains that should be bordering your circle here. And so we're going to be doing 2 double crochets into each of those chains, except for the last chain, which is going to get 1, and that will go next to our chain 3 that's over here. So we're going to start 23 double crochets. I'm going to show you how to crochet under, like into the little exterior chains on the outside. And I shouldn't call them chains, they're really just the top of the double crochet stitches. And so let me show you what this is actually going to look like. So we're continuing to work in a counterclockwise direction. So I'm going to travel to the left. If you're a lefty crocheting, you might be doing this going into the opposite direction, but just keep going around the same way that you've been working thus far. And so the top of your double crochet, like I said, is going to have this little V stitch. So you're going to take your crochet hook and insert it underneath. Oh, actually, let me back up a second. You're going to take your crochet hook, you're going to yarn over to start your double crochet, and you're going to insert it underneath the top of that, underneath that stitch. So you should just have that little V shape hanging out on your crochet hook. You're going to yarn over, pull it underneath and through. So now you'll have your 3 stitches, your 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, 1, 2, yarn over, pull through 2, 1, 2. Amazing. And then we're going to repeat that process with 2 double crochets into each of the stitches. Again, except for that last one, we're going to do just 1. So we're going to end up with 23 double crochets total. So let's go for it. All right, let's pause, count, and see where we're at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. All right, so we've got 23 double crochets. We've got our 1 little chain here that we started with, and let's go ahead. We're going to close up the round. This is going to be our center of our flower. So sweet. So I'm going to count up the chain 1, 2, 3, insert my hook into the center of that chain, and then I'm going to actually grab my scissor. We're going to yarn over, but we're going to actually close up our circle. So I just snip my yarn over, and we're going to pull through. And then I actually like to yarn over and pull through one more time. Just give that a little tug. In this next part, we are going to add our petals, which is so exciting. So we're actually going to do this in 2 parts. We're going to create kind of like a framework for the petals, which will be 8 little spikes sticking out. And then we're going to crochet into those little spikes to create our big petals like you see here. So we kind of go in 2 rounds. So let's start with the first round, which we'll do in our petal color, which is super exciting. So you'll start just by slip knotting your yarn onto your hook, And we're going to attach our new color by slip stitching the new color onto the outside of our little round here. And you can do this around the knot from the tail of your inside color. So just go underneath that knot. You can yarn over and pull through, and then pull through the loop that is on your hook. Mine's a little tight. Okay, cool. And you can, if you want to, you know, kind of hide those tails as you're crocheting if you want to crochet around them, or you can always weave them in later. Don't worry about it. I am just quickly going to cut this off just to get it out of the way. This is the beginning tail. And now we have our petal color on top. Throw this over here. And we're just going to start actually by single crocheting. This whole thing is going to be made up of a lot of single crochets and chains. So just to get the pattern going here, I'm actually going to single crochet into the same spot that I just slip stitched into, just to get that first single crochet of the pattern going. And then I'm going to single crochet into the next spot. So as you're single crocheting, you're going to do just like you did with the rounds, go underneath that little V shape, like the outside chain of the double crochets from the rounds. So go under, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through 2 to make that single crochet there. Right? So then from here, we're going to start building out our spikes. And to do this, once you've done this second single crochet, you're going to actually chain 5. And this is going to be your first spike. Okay, so obviously this is quite long. So how we're going to turn this into a little spike is we're going to count down to the second chain from the bottom, or you can count back and you're going to the 4th one from your hook. You're going to insert your hook into that chain, and you're going to do a single crochet into that chain. So I just yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and then we're going to repeat that one more time, going into the 5th chain from the hook, or the 1st chain from the single crochet here, and inserting my hook into that chain. So when you do that, you're going in between the, like in the V of that chain. So yarn over, pull through to start our single crochet there, yarn over, pull through 2. And now we have 2 single crochets, and you could see here it's starting to make this little sort of point spike, as I'm calling it. And we're going to be able to then do some we're actually going to be doing a half double crochet, which is cool, but mostly double crochets all around the perimeter of this little spike here to build out our petal. So once you have completed those 2 single crochets, it's time to attach this back to our circle. So we're going to go over to the next stitch and just continue with our single crochets. So insert the hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, 1, 2. Awesome. And now we're going to do that 2 more times. So go over to the next stitch, single crochet, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and 1 more time. Insert the hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And now we are going to repeat that same process. and we are going to chain 5, and we're going to do those single crochets into the 4th and the 5th chain from our hook. So 1, 2, 3, here's 4. And one more insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And then we're going to do 3 single crochets, and we're just going to keep going around and around until you should end up with 8 spikes with 3 single crochets in between each of the spikes. So once you do the 1, 2, 3, one more time, we're going to chain 5, go back down into the 4th chain or the 2nd chain, whichever way you're counting from. Basically the last 2 that are closest to the circle, and we're doing single crochets into them. Oop, yarn's getting a little loose. Do, and secure it. Okay, so I'm going to speed it up. I'm going to finish this up and then finish off this round, and then I'm going to show you guys how to build out your petals around your little spikes. So let's do it. There we have our 8 little spikes with 2 single crochets in between each of them. Mine got a little wonky at the end. It's all good. We're gonna close that up in the next round. So now I'm gonna show you guys how to add your double crochets around your petal spikes. Okay, so before we build out our petals, let's make sure we've closed up our round, and we're going to do this just by slip stitching into that first single crochet. So just poke your hook underneath that first single crochet from your spike layer, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the stitch on the loop on your hook. And now we're going to start building out our petals. So we're going to skip over the next 2 single crochets, and we're going to find the first chain. So if you remember these little guys, you know, we chain 5. So you basically want to go underneath that chain. It can be a little tricky to find it, so just do your best. So just poke into under that first chain, and we're going to start each of the petals just by securing into that first chain with a slip stitch. Okay, and then each stitch, so we have 1, 2, we're going to have a top little center part that I'm going to show you, and then 1, 2 coming down. So we're going to be doing this in sort of 5 parts for each petal. So we're going to, the first part and the last part, we're going to be doing a half double crochet followed by a double crochet into that same space. The next space, we're going to do 2 double crochets. At the top, we're going to do 4 double crochets. Then we're going to come back down and we're going to do the opposite on this side. So we're going to do 2 double crochets into the 4th stitch and then a double crochet followed by a half double crochet on this side. So it'll be a mirror. So half double crochet, 2 double crochets, 4 double crochets, 2 double crochets, and then double and half. So I'm gonna walk you through that right now so you can see what that looks like. So if you've never done a half double crochet before, this was new to me in this pattern, which I'm still very much a beginner crocheter. So I was excited to learn a new stitch for this. So it starts off the same as a double crochet. So you're going to yarn over, insert into the space that you're stitching into, which is that same space that you just did the slip stitch into, that first chain. You're going to yarn over, pull through, and you'll have 3 loops on your hook. And now you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 3 loops. 1, this a little tight, 1, 2, 3. I did that kind of quickly. So that's your half double crochet. And then you're going to do a regular double crochet into that same space. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, 1, 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So now you have, in this one spot, you did a slip stitch, you did a half double crochet, and then a double crochet. So that is the first step of your petal exterior done. So now we're going to move on to the next stitch. So we're going to be doing 2 double crochets into that stitch. So before I even go into it, I need to yarn over, and then let's find that next stitch. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, nice and careful, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then we're going to do another double crochet into that same space, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Oops, missed a strand. This can happen with Omega Krill. Yarn over, pull through 2. Amazing. So now I have 2 double crochets into that next stitch. And now we're going to build out the top of our petal. So before we do that, you just want to look for at the very top, you should hopefully, if you stretch out your yarn enough, find a little hole at the top of your spike. This is where we curved down our chain 5. So if you remember, we did chain 5, we looped it around, and then the last 2 stitches we secured with single crochets. So you should have a little hole at the top. If you can't find this exact hole, just do your best. Find something to hook into. And now we're going to do 4 double crochets into that same hole. So I'm going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 1. I'm going to do 3 more. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and 2 more, again, into that same hole every time at the top here. And 1 more. Awesome. And 1 more, right? No, I got 4. Woo! All right, so now we have 2 more spots to go. So the next stitch over, so once you have completed 4 double crochets into that top section, you're going to move down to your last 2 stitches on the other side. You're going to do the mirror image of what you did on your first side. I guess in this case it's the right side. So on the left we're going to do 2 double crochets into the next space. So I'm going to go underneath the top of that single crochet and do my first double crochet, second double crochet into that same space. Sorry, those little spikes were blocking the view. Okay, and then we just have one more spot left, our last stitch, our 5th stitch here, and we're going to do a double crochet followed by that half double crochet to do the mirror of what we did on the other side. So I just yarned over for my double crochet, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Oops, this keeps getting in the way. Yarn over, pull through 2, and then half double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and you're going to pull through 3. 1, 2, 3. And there you should have a beautiful little petal. So sweet. So before we move on and get excited to move on to our next petal, we just need to secure this down, and just in that next space below, you're just going to do a slip stitch, sorry, whoop, and there you go, little slip stitch there. So now we're going to repeat the same process. We're going to skip over the single crochets in between, and we're going to start by just going right onto our next petal. We're going to slip stitch into the bottom of that next spike. So it's going to just close this up here, and then we're going to repeat that same process. So the pattern again is the first stitch you do a half double crochet followed by a double crochet. Okay, so you pull through 3 on that half double crochet followed by the double crochet into the same spot. 1, 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, the next stitch you're going to do 2 double crochets. As I said, this can be a little tricky, especially going up. I find it's a little tricky to find those stitches, so just be patient. Get one in the wrong one. There we go. Okay, so that's my first double crochet, second double crochet into the same spot, and we're going to do 4 into that top hole. Okay, so we got 4. Now in the next spot we're going to do 2 double crochets. This is our second to last spot. Okay, and then the last spot we're going to do double crochet followed by our half double crochet. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, 1, 2, 3. Second petal done, so cute. And we're just going to secure it down again with a slip stitch into the next spot. It's looking like little bunny ears for now, but 6 more petals and we'll have a full daisy, which is so exciting. So I'm going to speed it up. I'm going to finish up this cute little daisy here and then show you how to close it up. And then we'll add a smiley face and you will have a beautiful patch. So let's do it. All right, so now you should have all 8 petals done, which is so exciting. So if you haven't done it yet, secure that last petal down with a slip stitch. And then you can close up your last stitch by snipping, just like we did for finishing up our round. And we're going to, I'm just going to come in here, yarn over and pull through all the way. Perfect. So now the last thing that we're going to do to finish off our flower here is we're going to weave in our ends, so you can reach for that yarn needle, thread the tail onto the needle, and then you can kind of just weave in and out. I like to follow sort of where the direction of the stitches are going. So, you know, came down here, so I'm gonna keep on going and I'm just going to weave into the outside of the next petal. You could do whatever you want. The idea is that you just want to hide the tail into some upcoming stitches here. Okay, cute. Snip off the excess. Careful not to snip open any stitches. And then you're going to check the back for the tails from the beginning here. And I try to weave each tail into its own color. But again, you could kind of do whatever you like. So I'm going to weave this one, the outside of the circle. Adorable. And then let's hide the pink one here. Going into some of these stitches. And so this is getting us nice and warmed up for our, let's pull it back here, for adding our little smiley face. Okay, apologize if that was a little off camera. And so first of all, before we even get into the smiley face territory, you can absolutely just leave this sweet patch as is, and you have an adorable 8-petal daisy. But if you want to go all the way, do this tutorial as it was truly meant to be done. I'm going to show you how to add your smiley face. So I just have here my black Omega Krill. And you can double it up or leave it as a 3-ply. I'm going to double it up. so I have my 6 skinny strands. I'm just gonna trim some of that excess, thread it onto my needle, and we're actually going to be utilizing embroidery stitches in this case. And we're basically going to use this little sort of ridge in between the 2 layers of our circle to embroider a face on. So you might have, like mine's kind of gapping here. This is like, you could see sort of where the petal started to attach to the round. So if you have any sort of awkward gapping, you can just take a look at that, see where you want that to live in relation to your smile. If you want it to be, I'm going to put it a little bit off center so that it doesn't, I don't know, visually disrupt. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to be doing a back stitch. So I'm going to show you how to do it. We're going to be doing 5 stitches total. And you're just going to start by entering, you're going to have these little spaces in between the double crochets that are attached to one another. So just come up into where you want that first stitch to be, and you're going to pull quite a bit of length through. This is, let's say about, I'm so bad at estimating, but let's say that's like, 6 to 8 inches. And you're going to then stitch over that first double crochet, pull it through. And now to do a back stitch, you're actually going to stitch ahead from the underside, 1 stitch. So come up on the other side of the next double crochet, pull through, and then what makes it a back stitch is you're actually going to then go backwards and go back down where you exited that first time, and that will close it up, and you'll start to get this solid line. So for your next 3 stitches, you'll stitch ahead from the underside and then back stitch to close up that line. So 2 more. And this is a really simple embroidery stitch. This is what we teach for Embroidery 101. Very handy and fun. Okay. Cute. So now you have a sweet little, easy little smile. And we're going to just keep going. If you have extra length on your yarn here, you can keep going and utilize this length to make the next eye. You can also pull this up and come around for the eyes the other way. Either way, you want to take one side or the other. You're going to skip 2 double crochet stitches. So 1, 2, come up through the space, and now we're just going to do a whip stitch around that next double crochet. We're going to do it 3 times. So a whip stitch is just basically just coming around the same stitch multiple times here. So this is 2, making sure I'm not pulling out of my needle, and 3, and you just want to line them up in a row so that you get some, width to the eye. And you can pull it a little tight. This is all just how you want the eye to look. So cute. And then you're going to skip 2 stitches again, 2 of these double crochets. So skip 1, skip 2, come up, and you're going to do that same thing one more time. 3 little whip stitches. Let's see if I have enough yarn. I think I'm going to have just barely enough. Yep, just barely enough. Cute. And look at that. We've got a smile on our flower. So sweet. So at this point, it's all about, tying off the back of your stitches. So I'm just going to go in with my needle because I'm running out of length here and tie off the stitch on the back. I'll show you what I just did a little bit slower with the longer end. I'm going to cut that. You could also weave in the end, whatever you prefer. All right, let me show you what I did on the other side with the longer strand. Okay, so you're going to go under the most recent stitch, like the stitch that's closest to the yarn that's on your needle. Go under that stitch, and you're going to pull, but you're going to leave yourself a little loop. Go back into that loop with your yarn and pull through. Sometimes I like to do it a second time just to make sure it's extra secure. So let's go under one more time. Make sure you're pulling that tail all the way through. Leave yourself a loop and pull all the way through. To tighten, let's trim that off. So cute. So, so cute. And you can, like, again, sort of play, you know, kind of pull at the stitches. Make sure that you like how they fell on here to make your little eyes. And then it's time to attach your patch to whatever you like. And basically what I recommend you do is you're going to want a needle that's going to fit your yarn. We have a great needle in the shop, which we'll link here, that will fit your Omega Krill. And basically what you want to do is utilize that same back stitch and go over. You want to actually start with doing a stitch around the circle. If you have both, you know, if you did the full flower, get that same color from the center here and do some back stitches all around the outside of the circle to secure that in place. And then you'll go and do some back stitches around the petal. Of course, you want to attach it to the fabric and use the same yarn color that you did for the petals to you know, attach your petals to your fabric, and then you'll get this sweet patch just like we have here. Totally seamless looking, so cute. And you can do your little, either just a little smile, the full flower smiley, or the flower without the smiley. So you have lots of options. So that's it for our crocheted smiley flower patch tutorial. I'm so excited to share this pattern with you guys. I hope that you enjoy making it. Make a ton of them. Definitely be sure to let us know if you end up making it. Tag us on Instagram at the Neon Tea Party so we can check it out. And if you like this tutorial, please comment below. Let us know what you thought. Give us a like, give us a follow and subscribe. And we'll be back with more tutorials for you soon.